Now let me share with you two toxic attitudes that can creep into the church with regards to spiritual gifts. Toxic attitude number one is this: the church doesn't need me. Friends, that's a lie. Paul says in verse 15, if the foot should say, because I'm not a hand, I do not belong to the body, that would not make it any less part of the body. Listen, if you have somehow felt that the church does not value you, or that the church has no need for you, or that, hey, it's all taken care of, the people on the stage, all the professionals take care of it here, if we've somehow given you that impression, then I ask for your forgiveness. That is not the attitude of the local church. That is the attitude of the world. That's not the way God set up his church to function. No, God set up his church in such a way that we desperately need you. If we've communicated somehow to you that you're not important, that's not a message from God. No, God specifically designed his church with all of the body parts functioning together. If Millington Baptist Church is your church home, we desperately need you to use your spiritual gifts here. Now, let me share with you something that was a revelation to me as a young Christian, and perhaps it'll be a revelation to you as well today. You are the ministers of the church. You may have not ever thought of yourself as a minister before, but Ephesians chapter 4 says that God gives pastors to equip the saints for the work of the ministry. And so our job as pastors, as teachers, is to equip you so that you might be effective in your ministry, to train you, to release you, to make a difference, and then get out of your way. The church has never been about one person doing it all. Paul says it's like a body. Every part of your body has a specific function, a specific role to maintain health in the body. I don't know, somewhere along the line, we got this idea that we would hire a minister, and then that minister would do all the ministry. Friends, not only is that totally impossible for one individual to get up here and do all of the ministry, but even if I could do that, even if we could do that, it wouldn't be good for you for us to do all of that, because you would be missing out on the joy of using your own spiritual gifts to make an impact in the body of Christ. The church does need you. Toxic attitude number two is the opposite. So the opposite attitude is, I don't need the church. Paul addresses the opposite attitude in this passage as well in verses 21 through 26. He says this: the eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need of you. If you think that you don't need the church, I just would respectfully say, I disagree. Yes, you do. There are many things that you can successfully do alone. Being a Christian is not one of them. Yes, you do need the church. There are no lone wolf Christians. We need each other to function in a healthy way. See how both of these ideas can be toxic to the body. As I was trying to illustrate this concept in my mind, what came into my mind is honeybees. Anybody like to put honey in their hot tea? I like putting honey in my tea. It's a great blessing. But honeybees produce so much more than honey. More than a third of all of the crop species in the United States of America depends on honeybees for pollination. The commercial value of these crops is estimated to be over $15 billion a year. You say, how does it all happen? Well, the honeybee is one of the most highly developed social beings that God has ever created. At the heart of the hive is the queen bee. And the hive can house as many as 80,000 bees around the queen. But the other bees don't just sit around and look at the queen. They all have very specific functions. For example, there are forager bees who go out and encounter perils in the outer world and collect food for the hive. There are guard bees who fulfill the function of guarding the entrance to the hive from intruders. There are even undertaker bees who are responsible for removing dead bees from the hive. There are water collectors who bring in moisture to regulate the humidity of the hive. There are plasterers who make a kind of cement to repair holes in the side of the hive. There are scent fanners who station themselves at the entrance to the hive and fan the scent outward to signal to disoriented bees where the hive is so that they can get back home safely. And there are scout bees that keep the hive alerted to opportunities and dangers in the outside world. The variety of honeybees is almost endless. Now, you may not think that undertaker bees have a very important job, but imagine if they didn't do their job. That's really important to remove those dead bees from the hive. Every single job is important. Likewise, Paul is saying this: every part of the body of Christ is significant. We need you. Recently, we welcomed a new class of members to MBC. These individuals were brought up to the stage and they were prayed for. And the chair of our elder board said something rather profound in that moment. He said this: God is the one who has brought us together. And based on the fact that he knows what he has in store for MBC, we believe that he is equipping and preparing us so together we can collectively be more effective for his kingdom. And so